back to the Barrel Talk Podcast. We are back with another episode. It's going to be part 2 of predicting this upcoming NFL season with the NFC predictions. AFC episode will already be up on the channel. Join with Cole, Nick, and Connor once again for this episode. But we can kind of get right into it. The AFC side was a bit longer of a video. Try to be more short to the point with this one because I feel like the AFC has a lot more of interesting teams compared to the NFC side of things. But we can kind of start out like we did with the AFC. We can start out with the worst division, NFC South, and we can kind of keep the same order. Connor, you can go, then Nick, Cole, then me.
The NFC South. What a man! This is beautiful. God, I wish I was in this division. So this is gonna be like the same thing with my Jaguars thing. I have the Panthers going 1-16. I don't think they're actually gonna go 1-16. Realistically, I bet they get like 3, 4 to 5 wins. But I am kind of high on Bryce Young this year. I think he's going to be really good. Tet will also be really good. That defense scares me a lot. I think Leggett will be all right. I'm not sure who their tight end is, but probably doesn't really matter. I think their offense is going to be a little shaky, but there will be flashes. Bryce Young's still going to do his thing. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the Panthers. A team that's not even actually could be possibly worse than them, the Saints. The Saints are terrible. I don't even know what to talk about the Saints. Derek Carr hated the Saints so bad he's had to retire. Like the Saints ruined Derek Carr's career. Spencer Rattler, if he does start, I think that it could be a good learning thing for him. Maybe they win again 3-4 games, nothing crazy. They're in salary cap hell. They can't do anything. That defense will be mid. O-line's pretty good. Kamara is about all you got. Olave, hopefully he can stay healthy. Just depends on who's throwing him the ball. All right, so I got the Falcons at second. I think they're going to go 9-8. I think that's not insane. I think 9-8 for Penix, and that offense is going to be really good for them. They're going to miss the playoffs, obviously, but they're like the first team out. Penix is going to do really good. He's going to show the flashes. Drake London's going to have a stellar year. Bijan, obviously best player on the team. I think their O-line is going to be all right. Defense is going to be really good. I think I could see them getting 10 wins. I wouldn't be too mad at that. But then I have the Bucs. I think I have the Bucs a little too high here. I have them winning 13 games. I think that might be a little too high. Looking at it now, I think they could get 11 to 12. But I think I'm really high on the Bucs this year. Baker has basically changed the Bucs team around. Their O-line is outstanding. Defense has only gotten better every year. Their receiver core is insane. With Jalen McMillan, Abuka, Cade Otton is kind of coming into his own. Obviously, you have Mike Evans and Godwin coming off the injury. Rasheed White, I think that backfield will be fine. But yeah, I think the Bucs are going to be. I think the Bucs easily take this division unless the Falcons kind of have a couple games where they can maybe get in front of them.
Okay. I have the Saints in last, 3-14. Not much to be excited about down there in New Orleans. Like you said, somehow they're still in salary cap hell.
Mm-hmm.
But then sign Chase Young to the bag somehow.
Yeah,
somehow.
I don't know how you guys continue to do it. Where's this money coming from?
They finesse it every time. That's just fake. Cap's not real.
Cap's not real. But you're still shit. So 3 wins. That's a top 3 pick next year, though. That's a top 3 pick. Come on now. I got the Panthers in third. A little bit better year. I got 6-11 for them. I just think Bryce Young's just going to continue to show improvement. Obviously, Tet and Xavier Leggett. I think they're just going to continue to grow. Defense, I think they've drafted a few guys. I think they're just going to still struggle. It's not going to be a good defense for sure, but they're going to show flashes. I think they'll show flashes as a team. Obviously, we're in year 3 of a really long rebuild. Or not year 3, but year 10. I don't know. It's been a long time, but I think things are looking up finally. And then second, I do have the Falcons 9-8. I think up until the last 3 weeks of the season, they were pretty close to Tampa Bay, and I think I have Tampa Bay figuring it out at the end of the year and kind of pulling ahead. But I think they're going to look good. Obviously, Michael Penix, Kyle Pitts. Hopefully, we have the breakout year. Probably not going to happen though. I'm going to draft him in fantasy though. Bijan. Defense needs to get better because obviously that was the weakest link last year besides the Kirk Cousins interceptions. The defense just wasn't who we thought they were going to be with all the moves that they made. So they just need to get good with the offense as well. But I think Michael Penix should have a pretty good year. And they'll be fighting for a playoff spot. And then in first, I have the Bucks. Like Connor said, love their receiver core. Love Baker Mayfield. Think he's just going to continue to do the thing. I think he's just going to be able to beat up on this division enough. I don't think they're like a great team. I think they're still going to have a chance like to lose in the first round for sure to that best wild card team, but enough to win the division for sure again.
Yeah, I got the Saints in last as well. It's hard for me to say like straight up they'll be like one of the worst teams in the NFL. I think they will be, but like the Saints are a pretty good organization. Like they've won a lot of games. I mean, I feel like they always find a way. Like last year, I thought they were gonna be bad, and then they came out 2-0, and people were talking crazy. They still ended up being bad, but I don't know. I feel it's me being conservative, but there's a world where they're just better than we think. I don't think Spencer Rattler's like bad, but that roster is not good. It's just not good. Then I have the Panthers at 6-11 as well. I think bringing in Seth McMillan for Bryce Young, who just kind of got his swagger and confidence back, is like a big thing. Like adding that other receiver. I don't know. They were in a really dark place last year, then they got out of it, and they were actually kind of a fun watch. I think they keep a little bit of that going this year for some games, but by no means do I think they're like nearing being like a 500 team flirting with the playoff NFC. I think they're still 6-11, but taking a step in the right direction. Then I guess the Falcons at 8-9. I think they're gonna be like a better team than their record looks. I just see them losing a lot of games. Like they'll be in some fun games. I like their weapons. I don't know. Like Penix gives me the vibes that he's gonna be like one of those good quarterbacks that just doesn't really have anything to show for it wins wise for like a while. I don't know why. I just kind of get that vibe from him. And Bijan's getting a ton of like fantasy hype, but he's a highlight reel for sure. I just don't know like when have we trusted the Falcons to really be like have a good year? Like ever since they choked that Super Bowl, I just feel like they've kind of just been like just disappointing all the time. Like I just don't trust them to be above 500 when there is question marks. So I got them at 8-9, and then I had the Bucks at 11-6 winning the division. But Connor, I actually kind of agree with you. Like I think that team is good enough. Like when you first had 13 wins, I was like I looked at it sideways now. Like thought about it. Like they're a really good team. You brought up the receiving core, Nick. They got one of the best receiving cores in the NFL. I'd say like depth wise, like of having 4 legitimate receivers to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bucky Irving's in for a big year. Baker Mayfield is a top 10 quarterback, right? I don't know. I think so. And then they just have the size. Like I think I've seen a stat. They were like one of the best teams against the tush push, like with Vita Vea. And then they just picked up another big body to go on their line. I just think like they're the type of team that can just like win in the trenches. And then when you add that on top of like their weapons and stuff, that's just a really good football team to me, and I could see them winning more than 11 games like I had them.
I have the Saints. Like, they're just going to be bad. I will say, kind of a little bit of a take. They are like a team that has this weird mix of like young and older talent. They just don't have the quarterback to put it all together. They don't have like the crazy high-end talent. They're kind of like the Broncos before Bo Nix and Sean Payton got there. Like, there could be a world where, like, in a year or two, they just, like, get a quarterback and they get a better head coach, and then all of a sudden, like, the Saints are, like, in that division. Like,
well,
like
I have some bad news for you. They just signed Kellen Moore as their head coach.
It's true.
That could be the start. Maybe they get a quarterback next year or something. Like, I don't know.
Kellen Moore, the quarterback guru?
We thought that the Broncos were going to be shit for like the next decade, and then a quarterback is all you need to turn it around. So like they're in a bad spot now, but if they got and hit in the draft next year, I feel like they, especially in this division, to where like it's really Tampa and everybody else is kind of a question mark. Who knows what could happen? But they're going to be last in the division this year. Panthers, I tried to find more wins for the Panthers. I still think they're a year away. If Bryce Young can give me what he got at the back half of last year all season, I think Panthers fans would just take that. They don't look at wins and losses like that, and they would just take seeing Bryce Young just be better and seeing if he can get Tet, and Tet can be kind of the thing that can unlock both of each other. Falcons 8-9. I kind of agree with like the Falcons have all this talent, but somehow find a way to disappoint. I feel like all the time. Penix, I think he's going to have a good year, but this is basically his rookie year. He had like some flashes back half of last year.
He didn't get to play a full year.
didn't get to play a full year, but that defense, that pass rush is non-existent. They can't really generate a ton of pressure, and that's what was really killing them. Their secondary is pretty good, and their safeties are really good, but they don't really have a true pass rush guy. And I think that's because that was the big thing when they took Penix and Dallas Turner was on the board in the draft. But thank God.
And they just lost Grady Jarrett.
So, and Matthew Judon, somebody that had last year.
Wasn't Jared Verse on the board?
Yeah, they had a ton of guys on the board.
Probably a lot of guys on the board.
What are we doing?
But now it all worked out because Kirk Cousins, it wasn't good. And I don't know what they're going to do with him. God forbid Penix starts playing bad at the start of the year and they kind of turn to Kirk Cousins. Like, who knows what kind of situation that could be, because they've also come out and said that, like, Kirk Cousins, they're fine with him being on the roster. Like, so it could be a little bit of QB controversy depending on how Michael Penix comes out in, like, an official kind of rookie year. So looking at that, I still think they have enough talent on this roster, especially offensively, to finish second in this division. Tampa, I'm with you guys. I feel like when I was looking at this, I could see Tampa winning anywhere between 10 and like 13 games. They like have a sneaky complete team. Like, there isn't a single place on this roster where I could look at has a weak point. Good O-line. They're physical on the D-line. They have size to like match up with teams like the Eagles and the Lions, like in the conference. The receiving room is disgusting. Like, there's no rush to bring Godwin back now. You can wait until he gets 100% because Ibuka's that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Evans, we know what Mike Evans gives you.
Even McMillan.
I love McMillan.
You got Kate Otten. You do not need to rush Godwin at all.
You have a ton of options receiving, and then you have a really good. I like Bucky Irving. I'm not ready to just like kind of take Rachaad White off the board because I think Rachaad White is really good as well. So they have a nice 1-2 punch there and a receiving back and a power back. And then like the only thing that hurt them last year, they had a ton of injuries to that secondary, which kind of made their defense a little bit exposed. That was the main problem last year. But like you said, you have Baker, who's a dog, who can get it out the mud whenever. They kind of have this division on lock, has ever long as they want it to be. But like, they're a complete team. They're probably the most, outside of like the Eagles, like, you can say what you want about the Lions, like coach-wise this year, but like in the NFC, they're a top 3 complete team. Like, they don't really have a lot of question marks. I think they're more a complete team than the Niners, the Rams. Like, the only 2 teams I put above them is like the Lions and Eagles in the NFC in terms of complete roster and like not having a lot of holes.
They can beat any team in the NFL. Like, they're one of those. Like, they're not in that top tier, but they're one of the tier 2 teams to me that can like beat everybody. Like, they have what it takes to beat any team.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the way that, and if you've like tuned into the AFC video, I said the Broncos and the Chargers are 2 of the most overrated teams going into this year of how people are talking about them. I think the way that they talk about the Chargers and the Broncos, they should be talking about the Bucs that way, because the Bucs are in an easy division, and the Bucs, like you said, can beat anybody. Like, this is the team that embarrassed, it was 2 years ago, and the whole different team embarrassed the Eagles. Like, they're a team that is sneaky. They beat Detroit last year when Detroit was hot last year. Like, those sneaky teams. Like, and I was looking at their schedule. They're going to have some impressive wins on their schedule.
Yeah.
Like, they play the Bills. I was like looking at it, I was like, they could beat the Bills like in Tampa. Like, they have a tough schedule, but they have a lot of winnable games. So I have the Bucs. I'm high on the Bucs. They should be getting talked about how the Broncos are getting talked about in the AFC, in my opinion.
Agreed.
I'm hoping they brought in a good OC to replace Cohen to keep Baker like at the level he was at. Like, I'm not trying to say Liam Cohen was like this. He was a really good OC. He got a head coaching job, but like, I just hope there isn't some drop off because of that. That'd be disappointing to me. I don't think there will be, but
I don't think there will, because Todd Bowles, I'm high on Todd Bowles. I think defensively he is.
I like that. I'm with you there.
So I think Baker's to the point now to where his confidence is so high and so restored to where he just knows he can just go out there and hoop.
Right, he's always had the talent too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We can get into the NFC East.
The NFC what?
East.
Oh my god, my fucking computer just blew up. Sorry.
You want me to go?
Yeah, you go. Mine's things like frozen.
All right, bet. And last, this is probably a little bit of hate in here. I got the Giants at 3-14. They probably won't be that bad, but I just don't believe in this Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, Jackson Dart trifecta of quarterbacks. Get one more, and we can just play them one every quarter. But yeah, no, they got one of the best D lines. Actually, they have the best D line in the league. With Dexter Lawrence, Thibodeau, Brian Burns, the new guy that's
Abdul Carter.
There you go, Abdul Carter. It's just the rest of the team. Obviously, they have Malik Neighbors, who's like a top 10 receiver, obviously already. You don't have much past that. You got like Wandale. You got a bunch of gadget guys who like we always thought maybe they would work out, but they never did.
Jalen Hyatt type beat.
Jalen Hyatt, like maybe you can get another guy with Malik Neighbors having to have so much pressure on him. So maybe they can figure something out, but I got them with only 3 wins. In third, I got my Dallas Cowboys at 9-8. I think we're getting a little too hated on right now. I think we're going to be all right. I think Michael Parsons is going to play. We have a bunch of stars. We just picked up George Pickens, still got CD, Micah and Trayvon Diggs on the defense. I think we just have a bunch of names that I think can carry us to 9 wins. I don't think it's going to be enough for us to make the playoffs because I think we still have a quarterback who turns the ball over, no running game, terrible owner, fucking head coach is wearing his visor backwards. So,
who the fuck is your coach?
Brian Schottenheimer.
Oh my God.
I know. It's just funny. He's so
random.
Why did I forget that you guys got a new coach? That's so fucking crazy.
In second, I got the Washington Commanders, also at 9-8. On this website, I have the Falcons going 9-8 and the Commanders going 9-8, and it says that the Falcons are making the playoffs. I'm looking at this and it doesn't even make sense because wouldn't it go off like conference record or division record or something? Commanders have both of those, so I am making a statement that the Commanders are my 7 seed at 9-8. I still think they're going to be good, but it's kind of like how I feel with the Broncos. I think they're just not going to take this step up. Like I know they were in the NFC title game. Is that what they went?
Yeah.
But like their defense was all right, and we have a bunch of problems on offense. We have Terry McLaurin wanting out. We have Deebo Samuel on the offense in general. We have Zach Ertz being 45 years old, and I don't know. I just don't think it's going to be enough to like really get them to the next level because they're going to have troubling games with the Cowboys and the Eagles in division, and they have a not easy schedule besides that. So it's just going to be a tough year for them. And then I have Philly winning division, very obviously, 13 wins. Favorite to win the NFC. I think they're going to be just as good. I think they're going to want to like try to force themselves to pass the ball a little bit more, maybe to keep Saquon a little bit healthy, maybe to kind of take some heat off of Jalen Hurts getting hated on so much. I don't think I'm not a guy who thinks Jalen Hurts is like not a top 10 quarterback or anything like that. Like I think he's top 10. I don't think he's top 5, but he's definitely like a tier 2 quarterback. Who can do this again. I think they're destined for another deep playoff run, I think.
Yeah. So I got the Giants 3-14, baby.
Uh-huh.
Right there. Boom. I think Jackson Dart's good. I think it's going to be a Shedeur Sanders type beat. At some point, Jackson Dart's going to go in there. He's going to show flashes. And then, I think Jackson Dart is probably going to be your starting quarterback next year. Love Russ. Love Mr. Unlimited. But, like, come on, man. Like, I think we're getting to the side quest part of your career. Like, I think it might be time to get out of here. Jameis is just there. He's a glorified backup. And, yeah, I don't see them doing well. That defense is going to be really good. It's probably going to be the only reason they're in games. I liked the Giants' defense last year as well. But, yeah, the Giants are just nothing. I have the Cowboys going 9-8 at third. Basically, everything you said, Nick. I agree with it, so I'm not going to spend too much time on them. I think George Pickens is going to be awesome. I think he'll be really good this season. I like Dak more than you. I think Dak will be putting the ball in good spots for him. CD will have a good year. Ferguson will have a good year. Don't like that you guys don't have a running back. I don't like that. Javonte Williams is not starting running back material. Defense will be all right. I think Parsons does end up just re-signing with you guys. Jerry's just going to drown it out and fucking throw a big old fat contract in his face. And he'll give it to him because this is exactly what Myles Garrett did. Myles Garrett threatened to leave, and then they gave him a contract. So, and I think TJ probably would have did the same thing if those talks would have gone any longer. But I have the Commanders also going 9-8, like just tying with you guys in second. I I'm like high on the Commanders, but then I'm not high on the Commanders. Looking at their schedule last year and the quarterbacks that they had to face, like these were teams that they're supposed to beat. So like I didn't expect them to go all the way to the NFC Championship, but I think them making the playoffs and everything was kind of supposed to happen. Now I think teams are going to have a lot more film on Jalen Daniels, on everything that they're going to do. Love Brian Robinson. If Terry stays, love that. If he doesn't, that sucks. Defense is still kind of weird. I'm not huge on the Commanders' defense, but I know it's going to be pretty good. And then I have the Eagles winning like 15 fucking games, 15-14 area. I think they might start out a little slow. Like maybe they beat a bad team not by as much as they should, but then they'll start to ramp up there at the end. The Eagles are probably going to turn into the new Chiefs, like realistically, if they can keep everybody together. Like they're just going to be in the bowl every year and win it. But yeah.
Yeah, I got the Giants in last as
for you.
well. I have them at 4-13 though. I feel like they're going to win more than that, but when I did the schedule, it came out that way. You mentioned their defensive line. I'm high on it. I like all those guys you named, especially Dexter Lawrence. I said before we started recording, I think, that he's the best defensive player in football. And I stand on that. I think he's just so dominant. The way he gets it done from that position is something that you don't see very often. But, their offense obviously has some struggles. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the three is good. I say three because I do think they can start 0-10, and you throw Jameis Winston in, and I mean he's gonna find a way to win you a few games at least. I mean I don't know. I like Malik Neighbors. This honestly is a sneaky pretty good division because in third I have the Cowboys 8-9, but I think they're still a really good football team. I think they're getting underrated. I think you might have said that, Nick, that people are underrating your team. I think Micah Parsons will be back. He just did the trade request because he's not trying to play into Jerry's bullshit of holding out and then signing him on week one game day. So then the Cowboys are the talk of the day. It's just what Jerry Jones tries to do, and Parsons isn't fucking with that. He's like, I don't care who you think you are. I'm one of the best players in the NFL. This is about me. This is my show, not yours. Pay me my money, and I actually fuck with that heavily. In second place, I got the Commanders at 11-6. I kind of agree with everything you guys said of any concerns, but at the same time, I think they still did it. They went to the NFC Championship. Jay Daniels is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, I think 11-6 is me even being a little bit low on them. Like, that's just a good team. Their defense concerns me a little bit. The Terry thing scares me, but they're going to pay him. I just am a big believer in Jaden Daniels to a point that I almost wish I gave him a few more games, but 11-6 still gets him in the playoffs for me. So they're at second and number one. I got him at 13-4. Highest regular season record in the NFL. I think they will pass the ball more this year, and they'll be good at that. I'm a believer in Jalen Hurts. If you're questioning if Jalen Hurts passing the ball more this year is the recipe to still be as dominant as they were last year, it is. They have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Jalen Hurts is, you said not top five. I think he's right there, somewhere around Jaden Daniels' rank. To me, they have the best offensive line in football, probably. They're a super team. Like I just don't think there's anywhere to doubt them. I'm not going to keep going on it. 13-4 Eagles first place.
So I have the Giants 4-13, kind of like you guys said. I love the D line. They could probably win a couple more games, and you would think there's gonna be like that random Thursday night game in like December where Jameis throws for like damn near 400 yards
against us.
Yeah, with like 3 touchdowns and like 3 picks, and they lose off of a walk-off field goal. But it'll be fun because Jameis is over there having a good time. But yeah, that D line's a problem. I think that in the division, that D line is gonna give the rest of the teams in the division a problem. Because if you have even a suspect O-line, they're going to expose you. And that's going to be the big thing they hang their hat on. Big year for Dayball. I think this is a do or die year for him. Unfortunate that he's going into the year with Russell Wilson. I would damn near just go into the year with Jackson Dart just because you know what you have in Russell Wilson and Jameis. And like Jackson Dart's like the Shedeur thing. He's going to start at some point. He's going to get his reps at some point. But it's just like sometimes I'm just like, let's just pull the Band-Aid off early. Let's get him into the fire early on. Like, it's not like this situation like Cleveland's where, like, they have Flacco and they have drafted Shedeur later on. Like, they spent and traded for a pick to get Jackson Dart. So, like, let's just throw him to the fire right now, get him and Neighbors going early compared to throwing him out there week 10 when the season's already over to lower the pressure and expectations on him. But I think they're 4-13. I think they're going to finish last in this division no matter what. I have the Commanders in third at 7-10.
This is it. Corey, let's walk.
I just
Let's-
don't
let's
see
walk.
it. I
7 and
don't.
10?
I don't see it.
Let's walk.
7-10. I don't see the hype. I don't see. They could easily come back and be a middle of the pack team. Here's what pisses me off: is they will have and be a mediocre team for a decade, and hit gold with Jaden Daniels, and then be like, you know what? Fuck no, we're not going to pay Terry McLaurin, who's been quarterback proof, been putting up 1,000 yards every year with who knows at quarterback, but we're not going to pay him because we have Jaden Daniels on a rookie. Who on this roster are you paying? Everybody on this
Yeah.
roster played out of their
Debo.
absolute ass last year. Everybody on their roster gave them at the perfect timing the best seasons they could. Zach Ertz was phenomenal. Terry McLaurin's always been good. Jaden Daniels was better than expected ahead of schedule. That defense played out of their ass for the most part with no real talent. But here's the thing. Kingsbury, he's going to flare out, and this offense is not going to be producing as well. When you look at their roster and how old this roster is, with Deebo Samuel, Austin Eckler, Zach Ertz, those three alone, and you don't want to pay Terry McLaurin, who is on the older side as well, but you don't want to pay him for some reason. Like, who are you paying on your roster? This is your moment to go all in. They've made some improvements to the O-line, but I'm looking at them, I'm like, now there's expectations. Same thing I'm putting with the Broncos. Now, with a harder schedule, there's expectations on you. You're not going to be able to just sneak up on every single team every week because you're the Commanders and nobody sees you coming yet. Now there's going to be expectations on Jaden Daniels. How does he perform with those expectations? I like Jaden Daniels, but I'm not going to sit here. Everything I see about predictions is like the Commanders are going to be a playoff lock. I'm like, no, they're not. I don't think they're better than the Cowboys at all, in my opinion. They just have Jaden Daniels. And now, if you say they don't pay Terry McLaurin, and I think they will, but say they don't, Deebo Samuel, your wide receiver one at this point in time. Right, right. With a suspect level defense. Get out of my
I mean, bro,
face.
Jaden Daniels is not Kyler Murray. I feel like you're acting like they have Kyler Murray at quarterback. Like, this is Jaden Daniels. I feel like it's a different level. Like, he's not a guy who, I don't think he's a guy who, on a year like this, like Kyler will win 7. I think you're disrespecting Jaden Daniels.
I'm not disrespecting Jaden Daniels, but I'm not going to sit here and think that everything they did last year, that offense peaked last year. That offense with the roster they have now currently constructed will never be as good as they were in the stretches they were last year. They were the team of destiny last year, the legit team of destiny.
Literally got a Hail Mary.
Bears on a Hail Mary. They went into Detroit, the 1 seed, and played a Detroit team with no defense whatsoever and won. So when I'm looking at this Commanders team last year,
They blew them out.
their way. Everything went their way. The Commanders had a flawless Cinderella season last year, and I just have a hard time believing that everything's going to go right for them this year. Jaden Daniels can be the truth, but the rest of that team, let's keep it a buck, is not good. They played out of their mind last year as a roster. And I like Dan Quinn. I like Jaden Daniels, but I'm not going to sit here and say back-to-back years with how this roster looks, talent-wise, and say that they're going to be a real-time threat. I think they are clearly, I would damn near say roster-wise, the Falcons are better. I'd say
Close.
roster-wise, the Falcons are
I
better.
mean,
They're
I
right
get
there
where
with
you're
them.
coming from, but
I love Jaden Daniels, but I have a hard time believing everything's going to break their way with a harder schedule and higher expectations for them.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I hear you, but on paper only can take you so far. Like, it's just unfair to say that with the Falcons. Like, we just saw these players who aren't supposed to be this good on paper just make fucking plays all season long for them and blow out the Lions. Like, that's just not an accident. I agree with the team of destiny, but there also were games. There was a time when the Eagles were the hottest team in football. The Commanders beat them once and then also played them better than anybody else. Like, at some point, the on-paper shit just kind of goes out the window when these guys who aren't high 80 overall defensive players in Madden, they're just going out there and doing it every week. Like, I think that has to earn some type of respect. I'm not saying you're wrong, though. Like, 7-10 is just a bad year. Like, I'm nitpicking. Like, if you would have said 9-8, I'd have been like, you know what, I see that. So I'm not saying you're completely wrong. I just feel like there's there's some respect that's earned, right? If this is a team like the Broncos who just made the playoffs, I'm with you. This is a team who was good all year long, and yes, beat the teams they're supposed to, but also played good against really good competition and blew out the Lions, went to the NFC Championship. Like, that's a different respect for me.
I'm gonna say this take
But I hear you.
The Cowboys. The year one to year two can be a curse. I think Jane Daniels is good. I also think Jane Daniels is in a lot of conversations he shouldn't be just yet. I don't think he's better than CJ Stroud, and I don't think he's better than Justin Herbert. When go back to Justin Herbert's rookie year, you would have said after Justin Herbert's rookie year 2, year 3, year 4, that he would have been this, and that, and he hasn't been. He peaked. I'm not saying he peaked year 1. I'm just saying. Just year 1,
Justin Herbert might kill a man to make it to a fucking AFC Championship.
Yeah, and Zayden did that already.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying, just because they did it once doesn't mean it's going to be a reoccurring thing in the NFL.
That's true.
And I could see a little bit of a step back, kind of like we saw CJ Stroud have, to where the expectations are so high to where maybe year 2 they're not going to be able to get to that expectation. But going on to the Cowboys, I got Cowboys 10-7.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what Nick said, you have star playmakers on both sides of the ball that I think can carry you to 10 wins. It's the Cowboys are going to get disrespected. It's just how they are in the media. But when Dak Prescott is fucking healthy in the regular season, they put up fucking numbers. I think him and Joe Burrow are going to be battling for most passing yards this season. Now you're getting Dak. This is the first time, really, Dak has had a true number 2 who can be a number 1, has number 1 talent. They have one of the best wide receiver duos in the league. And you have CD, who's already a bridge top 4 to 5 guy, whoever you want to talk to. And then you have George Pickens, who has the talent to be a top 15, top 10 guy. Like, they have their own version of Chase and Higgins. And then they don't have the greatest defense other than the Bengals, but they have Micah Parsons. They have a game-breaking talent, and I think their defense is better than the Bengals. And, you know, it's crazy. What does the Chargers have on their roster? What do the Chargers have on that roster that puts them above the Cowboys? Because I feel like in media narratives, the Chargers get put above the Cowboys when I think that's an absolute lie.
Justin Herbert.
I don't think the gap between Dak and Herbert is that big.
No, it's not that big, but he's definitely better than him.
But then I'm looking at Dak having CD and Pickens are 2 receivers that are better than anybody on the Chargers. I think the defense of the Cowboys is better than the Chargers right now. And
I wish Corey from last year was here.
Is their defense better?
I'm high on the.
I don't know.
It's not.
I'm not crazy high on the Cowboys, but I think the disrespect that they get year in, year out, because
I agree with that.
If Dak Prescott's healthy, they're going to win about 9-10 games. They're probably going to be in the playoffs, which is what I have them. They have an actual number 2 receiver. Their run game can be questionable, but if they have Jake Ferguson at tight end, like, they have a good offense. The run game might not be nothing crazy, but you have that guy on defense.
It'll be non-existent, actually.
They can make plays.
For the Chargers, I'm taking
the difference.
I'm taking the running backs. I'm taking the quarterback. I'm taking the defense.
Harbaugh is a culture setter, and Schottenheimer is a yes man hired by Jerry Jones. It's Jerry Jones' puppet. There's a big difference there too.
I'm gonna go out and say I think the Cowboys will have a better season than the Chargers.
That's fine.
I think the Cowboys.
I don't think that's that crazy.
And then wrapping up, I have the Eagles at 14-3. The Eagles, they're going to be prone to lose a couple of dumbass games. Like, they're just going to lose to the Commanders for, like, no fucking reason. Like, as cool as it would be to see, it's for my narrative and my take. If Dallas went in there and beat them week 1 on Thursday night, that would be crazy as fuck.
That's not going to
happen. Probably won't happen. But, like, they're going to be prone to lose a couple games. They have a couple games. I think they play the Chiefs. They have the Bills. Like, those are losable games for them. I wouldn't be surprised if they win the Arrowhead and kind of Chiefs got their lick back. So that's what I have for the AFC East. We can go on to the NFC West.
Boys, I got to get running.
Head out.
We'll see y'all. You I appreciate it. Appreciate having me on. Shout out Barrel Talk, man. Shout out Barrel Talk.
So now this is where things get crazy. All right, the NFC West.
Mm-hmm.
It's something. All right, this I'm gonna hard sell you guys on this whole division dude. Like, not even just these teams that are going to be in the playoffs. So we'll start out. We'll cut the fat off. Cardinals. It ain't your year. It's not your year.
Okay.
4 wins, 5 wins, area. Not big on the Cardinals,
Damn.
but they do. But they're kind of like that weird mesh of old and young people they have on their team, and the young guys that they have are really, really young and really like bright spots. Like I love the guy that they drafted this year, Will Johnson and Marvin, and there's just some spots on the team that you got to get rid of. So we're not going to worry about them. So now we're going. So technically, this would be third. Technically, this is third in the division for them. But I have the 49ers here at 10-7. I have the 49ers getting.
Oh, so this is third in your division.
This is third at 10-7.
I'll walk with you.
At 10-7. So the 49ers, I feel like the 49ers are becoming a team that people are just writing off. Because you have, I'm going to go back to the Commanders. You have this brand new toy in the Commanders that now is in the playoffs. Because 49ers didn't make playoffs last year, right?
No.
Yeah, so now you add in a different team, this brand new team that's coming to the playoffs, coming in, hanging out, be like overperforming and everything. But then you're looking at these teams that have done this before. They've been here before. And they just had a bad year. The 49ers are still good. They're going to be really good. Brock Purdy is coming. Didn't he get paid?
Yeah.
He got paid. He's got his money. He's here to ball now, man. Like, you got CMC coming in. Going to be CMC's. If he can stay healthy. God forbid he can stay healthy.
If he stays healthy, he's the top 3 back in this game.
You lose Debo. Who cares? You weren't using Debo anyway. He was making your team worse. And you're getting Ayuk back around week 6, they said, week 7. George Kittle's still one of the best tight ends in the league. That offensive line is still awesome. I mean, you're still sitting in there with Ricky Purcell, who's going to come in and basically he's going to come in and make a difference right away. Like, if they can keep Juwan Jennings, I'm telling you, if you can hold the line until about 5 to 6, week 5 to 6, you're going to be in a good spot. You're going to be in a great spot. But then that defense is still good. They still got pieces on that defense. The secondary is still good. You lost some guys here and there, but you got plug-and-play guys you can just bring right back. So defense, as much as it isn't going to be as very good as it was last year, I think they'll still be all right. But then, technically, if you want to say they're in third, technically they're tied for second in the division because I got Seahawks going 10-7. I got the Seahawks going 10-7. I think you're not taking a huge jump from Geno to Sam Darnold, but I think Sam Darnold is in a better spot for them.
Sam Darnold has more juice in that arm.
I think he has more juice in the offense. You go and get Cooper Kupp. You lose DK, you get Cooper Kupp, you got JSN. I mean, the offense is still there. Like K9's still going to have a great year. I wish they would upgrade that O-line. If that O-line could be better, like they would be so good. The defense, sneaky top 10 defense next year for the Seahawks. Walk with me. They got some dogs. If that D-line can get a little better, the linebackers are sus, but that secondary is something. That secondary is fucking awesome. I love it. I think Sam Darnold, I don't think he's going to have an insane year, but I think he's going to become a game manager. He's going to have Cooper Kupp. He's that safety blanket. You got your number one guy in JSN. Not sure who they're running out there at tight end because they just got rid of Noah Fant, so I don't know where he's at. Or I think Noah Fant was he might have worked out for the Dolphins, but don't matter. I think that offense will be fine. I think they can get them. It's the division games that I think worries me the most with them. But I think they can do I think they're going to do pretty well. And then I got the Rams winning the division at 11-6. So they're just getting one more win than them. But to get that 4th spot, to win the division, get that home spot, I think Stafford's still going to be great. He's going to do what he usually does. Kyron's a touchdown machine. O-line stays the same. I think you're going to get Tyler Higbee back for the whole season. He didn't play much of the season last year, but I think the Rams are going to be very good. You get Devontae. I mean, you still got Puka. Puka's arguably a top 5. I don't want to start nothing crazy. Top 5 receiver in the league at his best. He's only going to throw it to Puka. That defense, you got Verse and the other guy. Don't remember his fucking name. The other guy on the D-line. Linebackers are still cool. I think the Rams are poised for about 11-win season. I could see them maybe also getting 10. But yeah, I think this division is going to be very crazy next year. Like just clawing and fighting each other to get into the playoffs. So I'm high on the West.
Yeah, I'm also pretty high on the West. Seattle, I'm a little bit lower on. A little bit lower. I got them at 7-10. I think they'll do all right. It's just it's a tough division. I think I do have them going 1-5 in divisional games, so
Yeah.
that's where they lose.
And that comes back to all that like beating up on each other.
I might have messed something up. 1-5 doesn't sound right. I feel like I would have had them take at least one from at least the Rams or the Niners. But
so you got them split with the Cardinals.
Yeah, I have them splitting with the Cardinals. Yeah. I want to add one more, but I have them in 4th in the division. That don't matter. But I just don't love the Sam Darnold pickup. I don't know. It just feels like this team is in a weird spot where like they have the old people and the young people, like the teams we were talking about. Like you have that young defensive secondary, but then you have Sam Darnold.
I think it's gonna be really interesting with Jalen Milroe behind Sam.
Ooh.
So maybe
he looks bad at any point.
I don't remember what Sam Darnold signed for. Like how many years?
It's 3 years something.
But for as much as I love like wanting to see the Seahawks do very well, I also see the other side of the coin of them basically pulling a Kirk Cousins and like Sam Darnold being very fucking bad, and then bringing in the young guy. So
it looks eerily similar to Kirk Cousins' contract.
Yes, eerily.
You might be right about that. In 3rd, I have the Arizona Cardinals at 8-9.
Wow,
it's just gonna I love the Cardinals, man. I want them to be good so bad. Their defense sucks. Kyler isn't. I just don't think Kyler can get to that point where he's like a top 10 quarterback. He's always going to be like that 12 to 15 range, something like that. Like I think Marv is destined to have like a much, much, much better year. And I love Trey McBride. James Conner's only 35 years old or something like that. I don't know. He's not that old, but
James Conner pisses me off because he's not supposed to be a starting running back in the NFL. He is not supposed to be as good as he is right now at where he's at.
Bro, I had him in
and like
he was a dog last year.
Shout out to him for show, but it just pisses me off.
Yeah, but it's just there's just another few moves on defense away, I think, and maybe just another offensive lineman because I just hate seeing. I know it's his game, but I don't want to see Kyler running for his life this much, where he's like literally like can't find an open target just running around. It hurts to watch. In 2nd, I have the Rams at 11-6. I am a little worried with Stafford, but I think he's going to end up playing. I think with Puka and Devontae, it's going to be interesting. I'm interested to see how Devontae does because coming off the year where we were talking in the AFC episode about how he kind of came on late in the year with Rodgers. So I hope him and Matthew Stafford can kind of just get it going from the beginning. Obviously, so if Kyron, he signed his new contract. So I just hope Matthew Stafford can keep it together. If he can, I think they'll be great because we talked about that young defense. We've been talking about them since last year even, that they can be really good. So I think they could be sneaky. But I do have them in 2nd because in 1st I have the 49ers again. Shout out 2023.
Yep.
Yeah, they're just going to do it again. I think that defense is definitely a step backwards from what it was these past few years. But it's still really good. Like Connor said, you still have Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk will be back, like you said, around week 5 or 6. If you can keep it afloat till then, I think you're fine, which I think you can. If you can win, like, if you can just go like 3-3 or whatever, like you'll be fine. And I just think it's like so much happened to them last year. Like they had so many injuries. They lost games in crazy ways. And like Brock Purdy played really good. Like he didn't have those crazy years that he had when we had the Avengers, but like what were you going to expect? He like literally didn't have anybody. And I've never even been a Brock Purdy truther or a Brock Purdy lover, I guess, but I think he can figure it out this year with at least maybe like a little less pressure. I think coming off a year where you didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm sneakily kind of a little bit high on this division too, like how it all played out for me. Seahawks and Cardinals at the 4, tied for 3rd, I guess, at 8-9. Kind of flip a coin with these two teams. I think one of them's either is going to disappoint, one of them's going to overperform a little bit. A little bit higher on the Cardinals because the only thing I'll say about the Seahawks is I think Cooper Kupp, and I'll get to it. I think Devontae just has a little bit more juice than Cooper Kupp does at this point. I love JSN, but JSN and Cooper Kupp kind of at least last year, it's going to be different because you had DK last year and Tyler Lockett. But like JSN was lined up in a slot majority. That's kind of like what Cooper Kupp thrives in. So are you going to put JSN on the outside more? Just I think he's just at this point in Cooper Kupp's career, I think he needs to be in the slot more to be that safety blanket, and you need to kind of experiment with JSN outside. But we've only NFL wise only seen him in the slot majority because that's when you have DK outside. I like Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker for sure. I think they have a really good run game, but it just comes down to that O-line. I think the defense is really top 10 in the league sneakily, but it's just that O-line, and you have a shaky O-line in a division with like the Rams and the Niners who have guys on that D-line, just talking divisional matchups, like that can get after you through that O-line. And I'm worried because we saw last year Sam Darnold go through when you were able to get pressure, and the Vikings O-line was shaky as well. But like we saw in the biggest games and the biggest moments, like when the Lions and the Rams got pressure on Sam Darnold, it didn't go so well. So I'm interested to see, but more confidence going into this year with Sam Darnold. He could be able to negate some of those questions I have. But when I'm looking at the Seahawks, it's just like they're in a weird spot. Like I don't think they're a contender. They're not good enough to be a contender. And especially when Sam Darnold went from playing with arguably the best offensive-minded coach in the league in KOC. We know what he's about. Had Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, like offensive infrastructure. Like now you're going to Seattle where like JSN is good, young talent, still unproven. Cooper Kupp's kind of on his last legs. Like the run game is still kind of whatever. Kenneth Walker should be a lot better than what he has shown. He's kind of injury prone. Like you have a good defense, not up to the standard of that Vikings defense though last year. Like it just seems like he's went to a worse situation in every aspect. So it depends on how he's going to perform because the narrative around the league is like, oh, you can throw anybody with KOC, it seems like, in the Justin Jefferson, they're going to perform, they're going to put up numbers. So it's like now kind of I feel like there's a little bit more pressure, but I feel like there's less pressure in a way because the Vikings were in a different spot and last year because they obviously had a lot more talent on both sides. But going to the Cardinals, kind of the same thing. I think they still need to add a lot to that defense. I think Will Johnson out of Michigan was a steal. I've heard nothing but great shit.
They got him in like the third round.
Yes, so that was a steal. And like it was the injury concerns about him. That's why he fell. I think that's a great add. He's cornerback one potential for sure. Marv, great year, but I just don't see them being better than the Rams or the Niners. When I'm looking at the Rams, I have them in third. I have them at 11-6. I could see 9-8. Little bit lower on the Rams just because the Stafford injury does scare me. I feel like the Rams have also been in that position to where like they're just trying to get in. They're just trying to snag the 7-6-5. They know realistically they won the division last year, but like they know realistically that's not if the Niners are fully healthy. I think the Niners are just a better team. Stafford going into the year with a back injury. He's probably going to play through it. He's probably going to be fine. Stafford's a dog. Not worried about that. Puka's interesting because I think Puka sneakily has been a little bit injury prone the past couple of years. Like he was out. He missed a ton of time last year, which is kind of why the Rams took that big skid. I know he missed time the year before that as well in his rookie year at times. But Puka's a dog. Know what you're getting out of Puka. The connection with Stafford is definitely there. I think Adams, like I said, I think has a lot more juice to offer than Cooper Kupp in this offense and kind of give them a different look offensively. With Puka and Devontae Adams. Kyron's a dog, so like Kyler, I think they have a really young defense, but I just am a little bit lower on the Rams this year. I feel like they've just been that team that sneaks in and is always like most dangerous team in the playoffs because they have Stafford and Puka and McVay. Like they've always been like labeled this most dangerous team in the NFC, but like they seem to fall short all the time. They always get a tough draw with like the Lions that year, and then they got the Eagles last year in the divisional. Like,
yeah.
I just can see a world where like, and it seems like they always get to like week 9 and they're a game under 500 and then they turn it up late.
Yeah.
I am going 11-6, but I can see a world where they finish a little bit lower because God forbid Stafford gets an injury. Jimmy G is not doing shit for you. So it's like, you're kind of in this toss up to where like if Stafford's going into the season with a back injury, that's kind of going to make or break your season. So, like, I can see them finishing a little bit lower, but going in with Stafford being healthy, I think they're 11-6 because I think they're just better than the Cardinals and Rams. I like Devontae's fit because I think he's just going to be better than Cooper Kupp could have been.
Yeah.
And then Niners 13-4. Bringing up a point that you guys didn't bring up. Robert Saleh, I think he's going to bring fresh new life because I know he's been there, but like bring more of an urgency to this defense. And I feel like towards the back end of the year, like once they realized they couldn't really compete because of all the injuries, like they kind of just threw the towel in. And now looking at, obviously, I think they're going to be fine. They have one of the weakest schedules. I think it's like bottom 3 in the league in terms of strength of schedule. So I think they're going to be fine. They're going to be a lot of gimme games that they're going to have. I think their toughest games are going to be probably against the Rams because they don't really have a lot of like out of division games that are like really tough for them that I wouldn't take them in. So I think they're going to be 13-4. But their main thing is if I'm interested, they haven't like went out and tried to get another receiver because like I'm worried about Ayuk. This is the only question mark I have with this team because before the injury, he did not look good. I know it was like the season from hell last year, but before he got hurt, him and Purdy were just not connecting. And Brandon Ayuk, I feel like, could never get separation last year before the injury. It just seemed like he got the bag and kind of just like, all right, whatever now. Like, that's what it was. And then he got hurt. He got the injury. Then it was like, okay, so that's the only question mark I have. I really like Ricky Pearsall, especially in like Shanahan offense. I feel like he's just going to be able to get a lot of easy looks and a lot of easy touches. But this team is going to live and die off CMC's health. If CMC is healthy, they're probably going to finish first in this division. Probably going to be one of the better teams in the NFC because when he's healthy, he's top 3 back in all the ball. You could argue he's number 1, in my opinion, with his receiving threat. And we know what CMC is when healthy. And I think Brock Purdy, those Super Bowl runs and like deep playoff runs put a lot of pressure on him. I think he's going in kind of like less pressure this year. I think he's going to be more poised for this now that he has the bag. I feel like once players get the bag, it's a little bit
like more validation, like
yes.
you know
like
you can do it, I guess.
Yeah, so like I think they're going to be 13-4, but we can get into the NFC North, which is tough. Toughest division to predict. Because it's either I feel like you're high on the Packers or low on the Packers, or high on the Vikings or low on the Vikings. Like those two, second and third spots in this division are always tough because you never know of these teams at the moment. But we all know all these teams are super, super talented. And I think all of these teams have an argument to win the division.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a tough division. I mean, I still think the Lions are going to do the best, but I got the Bears in last at 8-9.
I will say when I was doing my predictions, I saw y'all play the Commanders. I was like, oh my god, Bears gonna get Bears gonna get that lick back.
The get back is insane.
Yeah, we do play them, but I think it's in Washington, so
it is.
The last game was in Washington, but yeah, 8-9. Honestly, I'd be happy to go 8-9. I would be so fucking happy. I'd be like, you know what, we did it. We finally got more than fucking 5 wins. Like, I don't even care. Everybody knows about the Bears. I mean, Ben Johnson. I feel like we talk about the Bears a lot on here, but Ben Johnson, just to seeing how much he cared, even in that preseason game that we played, was awesome. I don't know. He wants Caleb to complete 70% of his passes this year. That's just not gonna happen. Rome's gonna fucking be our number 1. Cole Kmet's taking snaps with the fucking second team. Like, I don't even know what's going on, man.
Top 10 tight end.
Like, yeah, now it changes to Colson Loveland, top 10 tight end.
You don't even believe that.
I don't. It hurts. Now, when we get those 2 tight end packages in there, damn. Our defense is going to hoop this year. I mean, we open up the year against the Vikings. That'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, 8-9. I got the Packers in third, going at 9-8. They got one more game than us, motherfuckers. Again, the Packers are just so weird to watch because they got a really good defense, but then it's really just make or break Jordan Love. If you can get a really good Jordan Love game, like, you're probably going to win. When that offense is really clicking, Josh Jacobs is going to get you into the end zone. Like, Matthew Golden
actually had the most amount of passes dropped by his receivers last year in the league.
Well, that's why they went and got Matthew Golden. They went and got Matthew Golden. I mean, Tucker Kraft's probably their starting tight end right now. Really good O-line. I mean, I think the Packers are going to be just fine. I can even see them getting 10 wins. Like, they're just missing the playoffs. And it has on my thing. So I gave the Vikings the same. They have the same record. They're in second. They went 9-8. But it has the Vikings in the playoffs instead of the Packers. So I don't know.
So you actually have on there has like the Vikings winning the tiebreakers in the division.
It says that you guys have the tiebreaker, but you guys have the same record in the same division record. So I don't know.
We probably have the point differential, then
you got something.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Vikings. I still think the Vikings could be decent. I don't think the Vikings are going to be shit. There's no way the Vikings are going to be that bad. With that team, it's really hard to be that bad. But 9-8 makes a lot of sense. I could even see 8-9. Like I don't think that's a terrible spot for them. And they get that 7th seed, get into the playoffs. And then I have the Lions going 12-5. I think the Lions are easily going to end up winning 12 games, 11 games. Their team's basically the same. That defense is going to be, hopefully, can stay healthy. You get Hutchinson back. I mean, Jameer Gibbs and Monty's still good. Laporta's going to have a better season. Goff, I don't know if he can have a better season than what he did last year, but if he can replicate it, I think they'll be really well. Amon-Ra is going to give you a bunch. Jameson Williams is going to explode. So I think this division is going to be really weird next year for sure.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Nick.
Completely agree. I have the Bears in 4th place at 7-10. I think it's going to be improvement though. Love Ben Johnson. Love Caleb Williams. Love Rome. Love that defense. The only thing I don't love is DeAndre Swift. I think DeAndre Swift sucks. But,
Yeah.
And Cole Kmet, I think he sucks. But my wishes got granted and
That hurts.
put to the 2nd team. So I don't know. I think you guys will be good. I think this is just year 1. Not year 1. I just think you guys need a few more years to build a connection with Caleb and Ben Johnson and just build up this team a little bit. In 3rd, I have Minnesota at 8-9. Just a little bit of pullback. We knew they were frauds last year.
Yeah, we did.
Going to J.J. McCarthy, I still think they'll be good enough. I think that defense is good enough. Obviously, you have Justin Jefferson and Addison, who got suspended.
3 games.
3 games. Free 3.
Whatever. You guys got other receivers. Hawkinson in a full year. So I think he'll be fine. I think J.J. McCarthy will be a good quarterback. I just think there will be a little bit of struggles. I think they might lose a few close games. And it's just, in division, I have them going 3-3 in division. So it's just tough when you got to play a lot of tough teams in division. I got the Packers going 10-7. I do think Jordan Love will get a little bit better. Obviously, you still have Josh Jacobs, which I love. Add Matthew Golden to this weird receiving room, which I really like Jaden Reed. He's my favorite of the bunch. I think he had a really good year last year up until the last 6 weeks of the year where he just couldn't get any separation whatsoever. But I think they'll be fine. I think that defense, it's interesting. I can't really read the Jair Alexander move. I can't see if that's because they are so confident in their defensive backfields where they're like, fuck it. So I'm interested to see how they look really early in the year. I'm going to be watching their defensive backfield heavy. And then I have the Detroit Lions getting 1st place. Just think that roster is going to be crazy still. Defense was insanely hurt all year last year. And I think they're going to obviously benefit from having them all back.
What was that record?
12-5.
Yeah. All right, so me and you are in the same area.
Yeah. There'll be a potential deep run in the playoffs. It all, again, just kind of depends on Jared Goff, though. Because if he throws a bunch of picks, you'll just lose. So
I pretty much have the same. Bears, I do have a little bit lower on. I have the Bears going 5-12. Everything that I've heard out of camp is
Same record as last year?
that I think the team is improved, but there's just something I'm kind of wanting to compare to Mike McDaniel's offense, in that Ben Johnson has this offensive scheme that I think might be too much for Caleb, and I wish that Caleb got into a different situation to where they kind of simplified the offense a little bit more, like they did for Jayden Daniels, to make everything a lot more simpler, a lot more easier for him. Kind of what you saw with Bo Nix and Sean Payton, to where they got him to roll out, easy check downs, getting up and down the field, going through progressions a lot quicker, and making it just simpler.
Do you know what coaching staff we had last year?
No, I'm just saying.
Coaching staff from hell.
I know, but I'm just saying going into this year. Last year was whatever. Last year was a wash. But I think going into this year, I think Ben Johnson and this offense that he's trying to bring from Detroit, and kind of how you guys drafted, is kind of the same of he's trying to kind of replicate that. And I hope, obviously we aren't on to the season yet, but I hope they kind of simplify the offense. But everything I've seen in camp is they haven't. And the offense is kind of a little bit more timing based and going through your progressions really, really well, being able to throw over the middle of the field. And it's all stuff Caleb Williams can do. But I think at this point in his career, he would get benefited more from being able to simplify the game a little bit more from an OC and an offensive perspective to just get his confidence going. Last year was a rough year, like for him getting beat up, and I would hate to see him go like into a situation where same thing with the Bears do with quarterbacks, because I do like Caleb, but like take a page out of Commanders book and the Broncos book, simplify the offense, make it easier on the quarterback, and I can see Ben Johnson like making it a little bit too complex because you just went from having Jared Goff, who's been around the block, been in the league for years, is a veteran. Just make it a little bit simpler. That's what I want to see from the Bears offense this year. Just focus on Caleb's development, not so much like big, sexy, explosive plays. Like make it easier on them. I feel like the Bears never make it easy on their quarterbacks, even in the past. Hopefully they can do that. I think defensively you're going to be fine. DJ Moore, Rome, big year for Rome Odunze because he has all this opportunity now to like be the true one. I think he has a higher, obviously, upside than DJ Moore. Running back wise, like it's going to be hit or miss with Swift, depending on what you guys do with that. But main thing I have for the Bears, record doesn't matter. It's all about developing Caleb Williams and getting him and Ben Johnson on the same page. I hope Ben Johnson does dial it back and kind of simplify that offense a little bit for him, because I would hate to see week 1, 2, 3, like he goes out there and it's like obviously there's a rift in the offense and like they're not on the same page because maybe it's too complex, or like maybe Caleb Williams just isn't picking it up as quick as Ben Johnson would want kind of vibe. Like I can just see that world being the reason the Bears struggle a little bit. And I think just in terms of talent in this division, they still kind of lack the top talent that the other 3 teams in this division really have. At 9 and 8, I do have the Packers. Packers are an interesting team. The Jair shit is kind of weird, kind of like you said, Nick. The Packers, it's kind of like your do or die off Jordan Love, who can kind of be up and down, inconsistent. I think Jordan Love is also a name that gets into conversations where it's like, let's slow down, because every quarterback that has a really good postseason run, they're ready to put him in conversations that he doesn't belong in. Like, I don't think he's better than CJ Stroud still, like stuff like that. Like, he's a really good quarterback, has the arm talent, but did have the injury last year at the start of the year, kind of hindered this Packers offense. Hopefully a year going into the season healthy, offense looks a lot better. Matthew Golden, I really like. Josh Jacobs, I think he's going to have another great year. But interested to see how this defense performs. Now you don't have Jair. I know he was injury prone and out a lot of last year, but he's still a top 5 to 6 cornerback in the league, like when healthy. And you're going up against receivers like Amon-Ra and Justin Jefferson in the same division. But I think I have them slotted at 3rd. And at 2nd, I do have Minnesota. I just think Minnesota just has a little bit more talent on both sides of the ball than the Packers do. And I think when you look at a team that filled a lot of the holes they did have last year, which a big one was O-line. They really bolstered up their O-line. They got bigger on their defensive line too. So in the trenches, they're going to be a lot better, which is something they struggled with a lot. Super high on Jordan Mason. Just his pairing with Aaron Jones, I think in the red zone, they're going to be a lot more efficient being able to run the ball. And I think they're going to be able to just run the ball more. I know they're not going to put a crazy load on J.J. McCarthy to start the year, and having Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason after an improved O-line, I think is really going to help. You have your safety blanket, the ultimate safety blanket, and Justin Jefferson, who you can put anywhere on the field, and he's going to thrive. TJ Hawkins is a big one I'm glad you brought up, because him going into the year healthy, because the year before he got hurt, when we had all those injuries, and it was a down year, he led the NFL in catches from tight end position. So TJ Hawkins is still a dog. I think Jordan Addison 3 games, we're fine with that, because from what I've seen just on Vikings lore, JJ to Jordan Addison has been like the theme for sure in training camp, and they've really built like a strong connection there. Defensively, we're gonna be like really fucking good still. Only questions I have is a little bit about our secondary, but our D-line improved a ton. We're bringing in Jonathan Allen from the Commanders. Dallas Turner, we can still take a step. Jonathan Grenard, Van Ginkel, like we still have a ton on that defense and with Flores, we're going to be fine. I think we're going to have probably a top 5 to 6 to 7 defense in the league. And then KOC, if KOC can make it work with Dobbs and Kirk and Sam Darnold last year, I'm not saying like JJ is going to come in here and throw for 4,000 yards, but I do think KOC is good when it comes to developing quarterbacks. We've seen that in the past. So I have us going 11-6, 10-7 in that realm, because I'm glad we didn't get the first place schedule and we got the second place schedule. So I think I got us around 10-7, 11-6 this year. And I have Detroit going 11-6, 12-5 in that realm. They have a tougher schedule because I do think teams like Baltimore are going to put belt to our entire division. Like the Bengals are going to be a tough draw. We've got a tough AFC division draw this year.
Yeah.
So like that's going to be tough. But I have the Lions. I'm not going to buy too crazy into the OC, DC new. I think it's going to be some rough patches for sure. And you got to think the Lions won 15 fucking games last year. I don't think they're going to be that great. And I think the offense might take a little bit of a step back, but they still have the talent. But like you said, it comes down to Jared Goff. And if he throws picks, they're going to be in trouble. But that's how I have the NFC North finishing out. We can get into the playoffs and wrap this one up. Who do you guys have at your 2-7?
I have the Vikings going into Tampa Bay, and I'm going to have Tampa Bay win.
I have the Falcons going into Detroit. I got Detroit.
I have the Cowboys going into San Fran. And I have San Fran winning. Who's 3-6?
I got San Fran going into Detroit and losing to Detroit.
I got Green Bay at San Fran.
A tale old as time. San Fran just wins.
Yeah, they just win again.
I have Rams going into Tampa Bay for the 3-6 game. I have Tampa Bay winning against the Rams.
That's what I have for my 4-5. I have Tampa beating the Rams.
And I got Seattle going into LA and losing to LA for my 5-4.
That's your 5. That's a gross 5-4.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
At my 5-4, I have
Seattle.
I have Minnesota going into Detroit divisional matchup. I have us actually beating Detroit in that game.
Revenge game. Revenge game.
Homer pick. Homer pick.
Revenge game. But it doesn't matter. We're going to get belt because at 1-5, we go into Philly and get absolutely stomped. Get belt, puts a little bit of ass there in the divisional.
Yep, I got LA going into Philly again and losing again.
Like earlier in the episode, we talked about Tampa Bay and how they played the Eagles close and how they can beat anybody. I got Tampa Bay beating the Philadelphia Eagles in the divisional playoffs.
Nice.
Thanks.
I got, for my 3-2, I got Detroit having to go into Tampa Bay, and I have Tampa Bay winning.
Oh, shit. I have Tampa going into 49ers 2-3 matchup, and I have Tampa Bay winning. So in my championship game, I have Philly. I have Tampa at Philly.
Me too. And I'm just going to take Philly.
I got Tampa at San Fran.
Tampa ain't going to no Super Bowl.
I'm going to take Tampa. I'm going to take Tampa. At San Fran, that's a good matchup.
That is a good matchup for them. You know, God, all this talk.
Fuck it.
All this talk. Tampa can beat anybody, right? On the road, chance to go to the Super Bowl. Already know I'm going to get fucking chills. Baker taking that smelling salt walking out onto the field.
They're banned.
No.
You can't.
No, they just can't. The NFL just can't provide them. You can bring your own.
Yeah.
Filed then.
So, you're telling me they're going to have an offense of Mike Evans, Godwin when healthy, and Buka, Jalen McMillan, the running game. Oh, fuck. Give me Tampa. Give me Tampa to go to the Super Bowl. I said they can beat anybody in the NFL, the most complete team, sneakily in the NFL, outside of like Ravens, Eagles. Like then I would have Ravens, Tampa, Super Bowl. Ravens get it done.
I have Eagles, Ravens, and the Eagles are repeating champs.
I got Ravens, Tampa Bay. Yeah, I got to give it to the Ravens, sadly.
Lamar gets the first Super Bowl,
He
but
does.
God forbid
Tampa get it done.
I don't know if they'll go that far.
Don't let that happen.
Love Baker. But that is all we have for our NFL predictions going into this season. We'll have another episode breaking down awards and kind of hot takes, kind of lump that all into one episode before the season starts. But you guys want to wrap it up there?
Yep.
Is there...
Thank you guys for tuning into the Barrel Talk podcast. Hope to see you tune in to future episodes.